I have a very special guest on the Full Circle today. He is the vocalist and guitarist of the incredible band House and Home, who recently released their amazing second album, I Won't Look For You. I would describe it as mixing pop punk, emo, and melodic hardcore into a perfect blend. Their live shows have had incredible reviews, and I really hope they announce the UK tour very soon. No pressure. His name is Pat Williams. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Pat.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm hanging out. It's like 8:30 in the morning my time, so I've just got my coffee and getting the day started, so doing well.
Nice. What does your day entail?
I work at a when I'm home, I work marketing for a music school in town, so head in there and get some stuff done and then hang out with my wife later and just chill. So, yeah, pretty easy day.
Nice, nice. And yeah, we're going to hear about your full circle song choices. Is it a variety of genres or have you stuck to a specific type or?
It's a variety, I would say. Yeah. I tried to I don't know, I was telling you before we got on, this was an interesting prompt. I haven't had to do something like this before, so it was cool to kinda think of connections and stuff, so,
Nice, nice. I'm
yeah.
looking forward to hearing the song choices. So, and obviously we're going to talk about your new album and also about just the band in general. But what I want to hear from you, I want to hear a fun fact that you've never shared before on a podcast or an interview that you're willing to share today.
Oh, man. Fun fact, I am kind of obsessed with baseball. I played baseball for, like, 15 years as a kid, and I have recently, become, like I have renewed my obsession a little bit. It's just been, like, my weird hyperfixation for the last few months. And I don't know if that's something that you would expect. Also, everybody in the band well, me and Joey, our other singer and guitar player, are, way taller than people expect when they see us in person. So that's something that I get, comments about all the time.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
That is tall, yeah, fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And baseball, so are you pitcher, batter, or?
I played catcher, in, like, elementary and middle school until I got so tall, that it became, like, physically difficult. And so, then I was center field.
Nice. So are you
Mhm.
back into playing again, or?
I wanna do, like, a men's league or something. I have a friend of mine that used to play in a band in Richmond called Centerfolds. Him and a bunch of his buddies do a men's league in town, and I've been meaning to hit him up and try and get back into it, but I haven't found the time yet, honestly, but I would love to in the spring, see what I can get going there.
That's exciting. Is there, sorry, my knowledge of baseball isn't the best. Is there like a local team in Virginia or?
Yeah, so in Richmond, we have, like, a double A team called the Flying Squirrels, and that has been, like, a big point of pride for the city. We used to have a triple A team that was affiliated with the Braves in Atlanta, and then they left, and then the Squirrels are a farm team for the Giants in San Francisco. So we are building a new baseball stadium in the city that's supposed to open next season. And it's, like, right down the street from my house, so I'm super stoked on that. So I plan on going to a lot more games next year.
Nice. That sounds
Yeah.
exciting. I have been to one baseball game. I was in LA a few years back and we managed to catch a Dodgers game,
Awesome.
which was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah, man, I love it. I don't know, it's just been, like it's a nostalgic thing for me, I think.
definitely. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope you can set that up and start playing during the springtime. That'd be so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so let's start with the full circle. What's the first song for the full circle?
Okay, I think I cheated a little bit and I chose a House and Home song because, like, you gave me an example, so I'm gonna use Swarm, by House and Home. It's one of the singles off the new album, and as the connection, um, first thing that came to mind, House and Home is a band from Richmond, Virginia. One of the most influential bands also from Richmond, Virginia for me is a hardcore band called Down to Nothing. And for a song off Down to Nothing, I'd say they have a song called When I Rest, I Rust. So we'll go that one for the first connected song.
Nice.
Yeah, sick, man. They haven't been a band for a while now. It's gotta be close to 10 years, but they were, like, the first band that I ever got into as far as, like, hardcore music goes, and, I had no idea at the time that I started listening to them that they were from Richmond. I was, like, 13 or 14. And they kinda they opened the door to a bunch of different, like, genre-specific stuff for me, which was really cool.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
House and Home Swarm, the first song, and then the next song is Down or Nothing. When I Rust, I Rust. And I want to talk about your album because
Yeah.
an incredible incredible second album, and it's only
Thank
been
you.
out. It's not even been a month yet, has it?
No, it came out on the 14th of last month, so we're coming up on a month, but
Yeah. I mean, the reception, I'm sure it's been incredible. I think people have really enjoyed the style. I think it's got, it's got some, like, absolute bangers, but it's also got some, like, softer stuff to it. I mean, how have you felt, a month later, looking back on the album so far?
I mean, it's, like, very gratifying, and the reaction has been incredible, and we're super grateful. We got to put it out, the day before we left for our last tour, which was really cool. We've never done that before. Um, when we put out the first LP, we put it out right as COVID hit, so it totally threw off the release cycle, and as was the same with, like, any band that was putting out music at that time. So, it was a new experience for us to actually get to kinda do it right and actually have a release that went to plan for the most part, and we didn't have to sit on this record for, like, years like we did the last time, so it was really cool to have no interruption in the experience, and just to have it actually go through the way that we envisioned it. Um, and the payoff was awesome. We did, like, a release listening party at a record store in Richmond, and that went really, really well, and we have our release show in January, that I'm super, super excited for, and it's been, like, a pretty surreal experience. The second record is a tough thing just already, so to have it be received as well as it has been is, like, a very, very special thing for us.
Yeah. No, completely deserved as well. I think my Have you got a personal favorite?
It changes. I keep coming back to "Filthy" just because the chorus of that song is so much fun. I love that one. "New Low" is a little bit of an experimental thing for us. That was kind of a Joey's brainchild, but, like, experimenting with a little bit of a darker kinda motif and a little bit of a weird time signature in there at parts and stuff, and, we weren't really sure how people were gonna think about that song, but we really wanted to try it, and it seems to be some people have said that that's their favorite song, which I think is really cool, so
Yeah, nice. I think for me, I think at the moment, Oracle is
nice.
probably my favorite. I think I like the bit. Yeah, I like the chorus is so catchy.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the whole album itself, I've listened to it so many times now. It's just, and it grows on you, and then, like, when it goes from Looking Glass to Swarm, just love that, and I think it ends really well as well. Like, it's perfect album close as well. I Won't Look for
Thank you
You.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't originally supposed to be the album closer. We kinda wrote that one. That song, when we first started writing it was a ballad, actually. It was, like, slow and, like, soaring chorus, and, um, then I left the studio one day and came back, and I think Joey, our drummer, Matt, and Will, our producer, had been in the studio for, like, a couple hours before I got there, and they were like, "Listen to this," and they just hit play on it, and it was this really fast, like, kinda punky, really high energy song, and I was like, "Oh, this is way better than what we had." So,
Nice. Could we see a UK show coming up?
man, we wanna get over there so bad. Yes, that is on the checklist. There have been, uh, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about this. I don't think it matters. We had talked to a band. Do you know the band Beauty School?
No, I haven't actually heard of them.
The UK band, I think London, I think, I'm not sure.
Okay.
We had talked to them about doing some shows, and it just didn't pan out, unfortunately. But we have always wanted to get over the UK, and there have been a bunch of conversations where it, like, almost happens, but, we we wanna make it happen so bad. So, yes, we will be over there ASAP.
Yes, I really, really hope so, and I will definitely be checking you out live. And anyone that can make their way to the release show in Richmond, Virginia, what date is that exactly?
That is, January 31st at the Canal Club with our friends in Sun Title, Death Cat, Jailbird, and, from Buffalo, New York, Auto Ignition.
Perfect. And you're playing, I think my understanding is you're playing the album in full?
Yes, yep, front to back, we'll play the whole record and then some crowd pleaser songs on top of that.
Nice. So if you're down there, do check them out. I'm sure it's going to be a great show to hear the album in full as well. Incredible stuff, and also check out the other bands. Okay, well let's link. Let's go straight to the next song. So how does "Down or Nothing" When I Rust link to the third song on the full circle?
Okay, Down to Nothing, there's a lyric in When I Rest, I Rust, where he talks about time ticking away. That's at the very end of the song. Wake up, rise up, time's ticking away, gotta live for today. So talking about time, there's another song, from a band called Such Gold, um, and that song's called 2 Year Plan. And also fun fact, 2 Year Plan, the riff at the beginning of that song has been my sound check song for, like, years now. Every time that they ask to check my guitar at shows, I play that riff. It's like a fast, uh, like, kinda punky sounding riff. But Such Gold has been, like, one of my favorite kind of I don't know if I call them post-hardcore, but they're definitely like a faster, more aggressive punk band, but they're really melodic, and their parts are so intricate and so interesting while still being grabby and aggressive, and, it has kinda retroactively turned into a little bit of a supergroup. John Markson, who produced, um, the last Story So Far record and the last couple Drug Church records, plays bass in Such Gold. And then the singer, Ben, plays guitar in that band Taking Meds, if you know them. Um, just like fantastic, fantastic, um, melodic, I guess melodic hardcore band. And they're playing shows every now and then, but I don't think they're super active anymore. But yeah, Such Gold, they have, one of my favorite records from them is called Misadventures. So if you're into the faster, more technical side of punk, go check that record out for sure.
Nice. Yes, I certainly
Yeah.
will do. Such Gold, 2 Year Plan, the third song on the full circle. No, great song choice. I'll check that out. Right. Shall we do some Would You Rather?
Mhm. Let's do it.
Okay. So let's just go straight into it. Hopefully they're not straightforward, but hopefully it's not so challenging that it's too difficult to answer. Right. This one I think is tough. Would you rather have to listen to only one song for the rest of your life or never be able to hear a song again after hearing it once?
Probably never hear a song again after hearing it once. Only because, like, I love checking out new music. Um, and I have to be really careful about not burning myself out on songs already. Yeah, I immediately tried to think of, like, what song I would listen to if I could only listen to one forever, and I don't know that I could pick one. The first one I thought of was the Death Cab for Cutie song, but, like, even then, I'm like, it would have to be only hear it once. I love listening to new bands and checking new stuff out, so definitely that.
Yeah, I agree. It was as tough as it would be to just hear one song, especially if you love it and you can't hear it ever again. It might make that moment that you heard it more meaningful.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it being in music is such a cultural thing too, so, like, being, forced out of that conversation by never being able to check out new music is, like, not something that I think I'd wanna deal with. Like, I love being it's very much a social exercise for me too, like, I have most of the friends that I have are from finding new bands or going to shows for bands that I've never heard of or this, that, and the other thing, so that would completely go away, and it would completely do away with a very large part of my life, I think, so I would have to be able to check out new music, that's a must for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, this is specific to Richmond. Apologies if I got this wrong, but would you rather kayak the James River in Richmond, or enjoy the food and beverages at Scott's Addition Historic District?
Ooh, you've done your research. As someone who does both pretty frequently, well, I haven't been kayaking in a while, but I've done it. I think I would have to stick with the food and, like, the breweries and stuff in Scotts. That neighborhood is awesome. I work at a studio in Scotts Addition, and, like, it's a little bit of a ritual for us to just, like, walk and go get some food. There's a bunch of really cool, like, bodega style markets and stuff, and all the breweries over there are crushing it right now. And as much as I do love kayaking, the James is cool to just go and, like, hang out down by, like, Browns Island or Belle Isle. Yeah, I would have to stick with the food. I'm also just, like, a massive food person. Like, I love to eat, so I gotta keep those doors open where I can, you know?
That's fair. What's your favorite meal?
Oof. I love Asian food. Like, really good sushi or really good Thai food is probably up there for me. There's a bunch of really good Thai spots in Richmond. My wife and I just tried a new sushi spot in town called Fighting Fish. I don't know how new it is. It was new to us though. Yeah, Richmond is like a weirdly food-centric city now. I mean, it's always had good restaurants, but especially in the past like 10 or 15 years, like there are so many good spots in Richmond. So yeah, if you like food and you're passing through, check out one of the local spots because it's all so good.
Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think I'd probably go for food and
Yeah.
beverages or breweries as well. Kayaking, kayaking, I think it's okay like every so often, but doing that regularly would be pretty challenging.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I could live with never kayaking again. It's fun, and, like, there was, like, a day camp in Richmond. What was it called? I can't remember, but it was like a day camp for younger kids that my parents would, like, just drop me at in the summer, and we would go kayaking, and then, like, there's a bunch of old historic, like, bridge supports from the Civil War around the James River, and we would go rock climbing on those and hiking. It was like a outdoor thing all along the James River. And that might be the last time I kayaked on it, honestly. I see people doing it all the time, and it looks fun, but, like, I gotta eat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, this one. I mean, I know we all probably listen to like different genres, but I think it's also an interesting one. Would you rather listen to your least favorite genre for 24 hours straight, or never listen to your favorite genre for 6 months?
Least favorite genre for 24 hours for sure. I don't even know what it would be, honestly. It would be some kind of country. And now alright, let me preface this by saying I think it is stupid when people bash country as a whole because there's some amazing country songs. And, like, I love a little bit of twang every now and then, but, like, the radio top 40, like, bro country stuff, like, makes my skin crawl. But I could get through 24 hours of that just so I could listen to, like, my favorite stuff.
Even with the lack of sleep?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could do it. If it
Fair.
meant that I could still listen to, like, the good stuff afterwards, I think I could do it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd go for as well. And yeah, I was also like, maybe for me, yeah, I don't really like. I think country. I think like some like proper heavy R&B music, proper heavy, like which I'm just not my sort of vibe.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah,
A lot of, like honestly, for 24 hours, like, maybe, like, house music or something like that would be tough just because it's just, like, relentless
yeah,
bass and, like so, I don't know, though. I don't think I, like, hate any kind of music, you know what I mean? Like, as from a songwriting standpoint, I feel like I can find something to appreciate in most music. There's for sure some stuff that I'd rather not hear if I have the choice, but
yeah. I think I've got it actually. Children's music. I don't
oh,
think
I
I
didn't
could do
even
that.
think about that. Yeah, alright, that would be kinda tough. I have a one-year-old nephew and a one-year-old niece, and so, like, I already whenever I'm hanging that my niece lives in Florida, but whenever I hear children's music when I'm hanging out with my nephew, like, yeah, it for sure is pretty rough.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a mid-sized career but be relatively anonymous, or have one inexplicable hit that is absolutely beloved, but you just don't think it's your best work at all?
I mean, I don't really care about, like, notoriety at all. I feel like I'm playing the wrong music if I did. Um, I care about, like, being able to exist in the community that I've chosen to be a part of, and, like, that is really important to me, and I think I can speak for the rest of the guys too. Like, all we want is to be able to sustain ourselves and the people who we are responsible for by doing this. I don't think anybody cares about, being Justin Bieber or whatever. Like, I would rather have the art that we're making be appreciated to the extent that we can sustain ourselves on it and also have, like, the creative freedom to stretch a little bit and try things if it means, being able to actually carry out the vision that we have and really be around people that appreciate it fully, rather than just be, like, super famous off some stuff that we think is, like, not that great, you know?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and I think there's I think some artists, when they've had that bigger hit, I think, for instance, like Radiohead, I think their biggest hit is Creep, and they just don't play
Yeah.
that live anymore.
No, no, and it's, like, I also kinda get there's a weird middle ground with stuff like that too, where if you are a band like Radiohead, and I love Radiohead, but, like, if you listen to The Bends or, like, OK Computer, or well, not so much OK Computer, but if you listen to, like, The Bends or Pablo Honey, and then somebody puts on In Rainbows, like, it's a different band, but that record is incredible, and so I think there is something to taking ownership of that as an artist and being like, "That's not the band that we are anymore, so we don't play that song." But there's also an element of it where it's like, okay, well, even the people that appreciate your later records are probably gonna wanna hear Creep because it's a massive song. So I think there is a middle ground there, but I am kind of a Tom York fanboy, so, like, if he doesn't wanna play Creep, he doesn't have to play Creep.
Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Cool, thanks for answering those. Not too hard, I hope.
No.
No. Right, Such Goal, 2-year plan. How does that link to the next song on the Full Circle?
Such Gold is from Upstate New York. Another band from Upstate New York that I'm a big fan of is and is very actively touring is Drug Church. Um, and they have a song called Let's Go with Weed Pin. That's like the big Drug Church song, right? But they are a band that I think has done a lot to kind of bridge the gap between hardcore music and pop punk and just like alternative rock. I think there are a lot of different musical influences in the creators in that band. Nick Cogan is like one of my favorite current rock guitar players. I think that the way that that guy approaches his instrument is so interesting. Sonically, I think he has an ear that is like wholly his, with influence obviously, but like it is so uh signature to him, and I think that that's awesome, and I've seen them a bunch of times. I've played on festivals with them, and I've kinda seen how they operate, and it's just so pro while still being so punk, and I just love Drug Church, man. That band is so good. We saw them in DC, what was it, like, a month and a half ago with our friends in Anxious and Arm's Length, and Hot Mulligan. Um, and that show was just incredible. They sound so good every time, and Nick Cogan is just a monster. But yeah, Drug Church, Weed Pin, I think is gonna be my fourth one.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Drug Church Weepin, the fourth song on the Full Circle. And you've just reminded me actually, when I sort of described the genre of your second album of like, mixing like pop punk, emo, maybe a bit of melodic hardcore, do you think that is sort of the vibe you were going for? Or what sort of genre were you or what sort of how would you describe it?
Whenever people ask me, I just say alternative rock, just because I feel like it's more all encompassing, but I don't know that we had really, like, a genre in mind when we were writing for the record. We kinda come from a different like, a bunch of different musical backgrounds. I think all of us have there's a common thread. We all love hardcore music, and we all love the same group of, like, pop punk or alternative rock artists. Like, I played in pop punk bands growing up. I'm a, like, I guess, a pop punk kid that graduated into, like, maybe more mature styles of music, and our bass player, Colin, grew up in hardcore. Um And then there's also just, like, the familial influences that we all have. Joey listens to a lot of, like, Metallica and Sabbath and stuff like that, and Matt's pretty open to anything, actually. I know his parents listened to a lot of, like, K95 country radio when he was growing up, but he likes a lot of, like, heavier, like, nu metal leaning stuff now. So but I always tell people that, like, house and home happens when you take my obsession with, like, Death Cab for Cutie and mash it together with Joey's obsession with, like, Gojira, and then, like, House and Home happens. Um, but yeah, it really truly is, like, kind of a melting pot. So, yeah, whenever people ask me, I always just say, "We're a rock band," you know? But call us whatever you want as long as you're listening to it, I don't really care, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I was struggling to sort of give it a genre because actually, I do think it, like you say, it encompasses like the rock slash alternative rock genre. But I think, yeah, I think there is a lot of also just variation in that genre per se as well that your album has, and I think that's what makes it difficult to sort of give it a specific genre, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, it's interesting 'cause, like, I have when you put out an album, like, people will compare it to other music just, like, naturally, and, like, we get a lot of Balance and Composure, a lot of Title Fight, which is cool because those are, like, 2 of my favorite bands ever, so I'm like, down, awesome. But then we get a lot of stuff that I, like, don't really listen to, which I think is also cool because 'cause I'm like, a lot of people actually, the first person that I heard to make this comparison was our friend Tess, shout out Tess Phillipson. But she said we sound like Chevelle, and, like, I don't listen to Chevelle. So, but I'm like, "That's dope, cool." I listened to it after that, and I was like, "I guess I kinda hear it." Um, and then a lot of Taking Back Sunday we get too, but I think that's just
Mm,
because we have 2 singers. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah, I think, well, I don't know. I didn't know whether I mean, do you want me to say who I thought you sounded similar to?
Yeah, sure.
So I thought in my head that there were some similarities with like Rise Against.
Okay. We've gotten
Yeah.
that before too. I love Rise Against it. I don't know, I kinda there are so many cliches associated with, like, the process of trying to find your sound or whatever, like, the I kinda hate the "for fans of XYZ band" kinda thing because, like, sure, it's like like, be your own band kinda thing, but at the same time, it's also like, we're trying to make sure that we don't sound like anybody else. I'm like, you gotta have you're gonna have influences, like, that's just that that y that is the way it is. So we've never really tried to think too much about it. We just try to write songs that when we record them in the studio, everybody just kinda looks at each other and laughs because 'cause we're like, "Oh, this is cool." Like, it's whatever just gets us stoked, like, if it sounds like a pop punk song or like a melodic hardcore song or like a whatever, like, as long as we're all, like, stoked about it when we're writing it, that's all we're going for. We don't really think too much about genre.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, the fact that there's so many different names that people are cropping up means that you probably do have quite a unique sound. And I think, and I wouldn't be able to compare. I don't think you sound exactly like Rise Against. I think, oh, there's some
Right.
influences there. That's like the first influence that comes to my head. But there's so many other songs that don't sound like that. And actually, I think that what makes you quite unique in the sense that you use a lot of different styles into your own.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that that's for sure something that I am proud of about this record in particular. Um, I love it when it's, like, everybody's favorite song is something different. Like, I think that always bodes well for, like, how, well-rounded a record is or, like, when like you're saying, when people find a bunch of different influences in the sound. I think that's cool. That's kind of one of the coolest parts about music is kind of picking out different, like, little touches or nuances. It's like anything that people get weirdly obsessed with, like people's favorite books or, like, even, like, people that are super into wine, like, talking about, like, the notes and stuff that they're hearing. It's, like, the same thing, or they're like, they're tasting, I mean, but, like, it's the same thing. It's like, it is a vehicle for connection, and I think that the more you have for people to sink their teeth into in a record, that the better offering it has for connection to other people that listen to it and to the artists themselves, and it's like, that's all we're trying to do, so I don't really care what people hear in it, um, because it seems like people really like it, and that's kinda the whole thing is, like, I just want something for people to be able to, like, really get into and dig deep in and, like, and I love the record, so it's whatever people take from it past that is, like, almost none of my business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, completely fair. Right, I wanna do a quiz.
okay.
Apologies for the name of the quiz. It's called House and Home or Houseless and Homeless. Sorry, it's so
Nice.
lame. So basically, there's five lyrics, and I want you to tell me if you think it's a house and home lyric, or if it's not. And I'll give you a clue for the ones that aren't. They do have some loose or direct association with the band somehow.
Okay, I got a funny story about this after we're done, but yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Okay. First one. Cling to the switchblade that you take when you leave home.
That's Empty-Handed, that's a House and Home song.
Yeah.
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 I write all the lyrics, so this is gonna be easy. Well, I write a lot of the lyrics. Joey writes a lot of lyrics too, but
That I mean, that's an absolute banger of a song.
thank
An
you,
absolute
thank you.
banger. Yeah. Okay, next one. Hang me where you want me, a picture in your head.
That one, what song is that? That's a Sun song. Yeah, yeah, okay, actually, so, fun fact, I produced the vocals on those songs. So, I was with Joe kinda writing the melody structure for those songs, so that's so funny. Huh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's off the split with cellophane at the bottom on it, yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's why I put it there because I was curious to know, yeah. Okay, nice. And that's a solid EP. And was that, is that something that's on the cards again in the future or?
Like a split with another band?
Yeah.
Um, who knows? That one kinda came together just because we both like, Sun is, like, our best friend band, like, we love all those guys. Matt plays drums in that band. So we share a drummer and, like, I help demo and write a lot of the Sun songs with them, and we play shows together all the time. So, splits are always just fun, and, like, we both needed to put new music out, so we're like, "You just wanna do this together," and it's something that we definitely would be open to, I think. It just depends on a lot of different things, but yeah, that's, for anybody that doesn't know, we did a split with our friends in Sun a couple years ago. We each did 2 songs. Uh, Will Beasley mixed our half, and then Jake Clark from Super Heaven mixed the Sun songs. And yeah, it's out for you to listen to. It's cool. Little 4-song ripper, so but yeah. Yeah, I would be open to it for sure.
Nice. Well, looking forward to that if that happens again in the future. Right,
Mhm.
next one. Say it like you mean it. Do you trust me now?
Huh, that's Trophy Eyes. Yeah. Yeah, that, yeah, we did I'm sure you know, but we did our last full US tour with Trophy Eyes and Rarity in 2024. Um, and, dude, that was so crazy because Trophy Eyes is a band that I have been listening to since I was, like, 14. Um, and I've just been a massive fan of John's songwriting, and that was one of the first tours where we got the offer, and I was like, "This isn't real, like, no way," and we showed up, and it was just that tour was so cool and, like, opened so many doors for us, and, like, um, it was just such a good vibe in the package, and, like, we were such fast friends, and the Trophy Eyes guys are such sweethearts and were so cool to us, and Rarity are the homies, of course, and it was just so much fun, and I'm so grateful to both of those bands for taking us out. That tour was such a good time. Very, very hopefully or very hopeful that we get to play some shows with either of them again.
Nice, that's so cool. Yeah, because yeah, that was the reason why I chose that song, and I really do like Figure Eight. That is so cool though that you got to do that to get to support a band who you've just listened to for years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember I was 14 or 15, and I went to Warped Tour, and Trophy Eyes was playing, like, one of the really small stages, and I went and, like, bought they were on that record, Men Move On. Chemical Miracle hadn't even come out yet, but I love that record, and I bought it at their merch table, and I had John sign it, and then, like, whatever, like, 10 years later, I'm in their bus having a glass of whiskey, just, like, talking about life with him after a show in Houston, Texas. Like, it was just very
Wow.
weird. Yeah, it was really, really cool. I don't think I told him that that happened either. I gotta send him a picture because I still have the record.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Next one. Too late to figure out the things I don't know.
Um, that is Familiar Direction. That's a
Yeah.
House and Home song. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I chose that one, that's your most streamed Spotify song.
Yeah, man, I honestly, to be perfectly candid, I think that that is just because the label pumped a bunch of money into ads on that song. But I mean, I think it might have changed since we put the new record out, but for a really long time, our other singer and guitar player, Joey, maintains that that is his favorite House and Home song. That is still currently my wife's favorite House and Home song. I don't know, that one was just like it was the first song that we wrote off that EP. And it came together so easily. Like, musically, it's a very simple song, and it was just like well, first off, it was I wanted to say it was the first song we ever wrote with Colin on bass, but that's not true. Empty Handed was. But it was the first part of a release that we wrote with Colin on bass, and it was, like, the first time that we moved away from being, like, kind of a pop punk band into just, like, an amorphous rock band. 'Cause, like, I don't really know what you call that song, like grunge or rock or alt rock or whatever, but we wrote it and it was, like, very much an exercise in just, like, "Don't worry about it, just write music." Um, and it came together really naturally, and I love that people like that song so much because I really do love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good song. I think
Thank you, yeah.
even if it was because of, like you said, label stuff, I still think people have to listen to it and people must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is definitely, like, a one that people mention at shows a lot when they're talking to us about it, about,
Yeah.
like, that was, like, the song that, like, really got them excited about the band. Um, and I love that, so
Yeah. I think that and Empty Handed as
mhm.
well, like, but if they've got similar amount of listens as well, I think those 2 are definitely, yeah, great songs for sure.
They're definitely in the top 5 Spotify-wise, yeah.
Last one, I saw you sinking even deeper in some existential stare.
That's Oracle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is y as you had mentioned earlier, it being one of your favorites, I truly do really love that song. That
Yeah.
one the was another kinda exercise in, like, the collaborative nature of how we write, because I had that song mapped out in a demo, and I brought it to the guys, um, and they really liked the I guess, the thematic content of it, like the lyrical content, but the riff behind it and the music, it was slower, even more so than the song is now, and it was, like, very major key, kinda happy sounding, and they were like, "Something isn't lining up here," and, Joey is a big fan of what he calls baddiecore, which is like the big, like, high production, hi-fi, like, Plotting You, Bring Me the Horizon kinda stuff, which, like, that's not really for me, but he just is, like, a big fan of that style of songwriting, and he came up with the lead and the chorus, and I kinda just took the melody that I had and started singing it over what he was playing, and it worked and, like, just completely changed the mood of it, so it turned into this kind of, like, Sirius XM Octane, like, kinda rock song, and, yeah, I love that song. That song's about my grandfather, and it's, like, a really special one, and, um, yeah, I'm stoked about how that one came out because I really didn't have that much of a vision for that song when it started. I just knew it was, like, something I wanted to write about, and I kinda just started kicking the can down the road, and then the other guys just took it and ran with it, so
Yeah. I chose that one because I think it is still my favorite on that album, and I think it's yeah, it just hits for me, and maybe it is because of, like you've mentioned, like, that, that style of what was it described? Something
he
core
he
what was
calls
it
it
called?
he calls it baddie core.
Baddiecore. Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, maybe,
that's
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not something that I typically, like, align our band with, but he's just so into, like, that high production, like, big venue rock, metalcore crossover stuff, and, like, sometimes it kinda sneaks its way into house and home music, and I'm always skeptical, and then the final product comes out, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm glad I let him do his thing with this one because it turned out really cool."
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Sorry if you can hear some drilling. Unfortunately, I've got some neighbors doing some drilling, but thank you
That's
so
okay.
thank you so much, for playing that quiz, and you it was perfect. Like, you knew the song, and you knew the ones which weren't yours either. That is I don't think anyone's ever done
Yeah.
that.
I'm a very much a lyrics person. Like, I'm obsessive about lyrics. I really love like, a lot of my favorite musicians, like, Jason Isbell, Ben Gibbard, like, just poets, really, like, I love that kinda stuff, and so uh, that is kind of the first thing that I commit to memory when I hear music is the lyric and the melody, so, um, yeah, actually, funny story, my wife and Joey, his wife, are really, really close friends, and when Joey and his wife, Sydney, were about to get married at Sydney's bachelorette party, my wife was the maid of honor, so she made this game that was very much like that one where it was but when Sydney was growing up, she was a massive One Direction fan. So, she tried to pick, like, the worst lyrics from, like, early House and Home songs that she could find, and the corniest lyrics from One Direction, and she mixed them all up, and they made a game out of, like, trying to figure out which lyrics were One Direction and which ones were House and Home. And, shamefully, like, some of them were, like, kinda difficult.
Oh,
Like
no.
yeah, so, like, some of our first EP is not not my best work lyrically.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to the lyrics and,
Yeah,
listen
you're
to One Direction
I
ones.
nobody needs to. Just focus on the new stuff.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. As advised by Pat, only focus on the new
Yeah,
stuff. That's what Pat's
yeah,
saying.
2020 and forward. Just stick to that.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, dear. Right, let's wrap things up. How does, Drug Church Weed Pin link to the last song on the Full Circle?
Drug Church, Weed Pin, the lyrical content about that in a good bit of that song is about being broke and working like a dead end job. So and the topic of being broke and owing money, there is a song, where the chorus is, "I still owe money to the money to the money I owe," and that song is Blood Bows Ohio by a band called The National. And this is, genre-wise, very different than the other bands that I picked. The National is I don't know if some people would be surprised to know, it's one of my favorite bands ever. They are like an indie rock band from Cleveland, um, and they have just some of the most interesting and, like, vibe specific albums. Um, and they're a band that my dad and I bonded over. Like my dad is like probably one of my biggest musical influences. He kind of shaped my taste. He's a big fan of um like mid to late 90s alt rock stuff. So like The Smiths, Radiohead, um, REM, like those are the big 3 probably. But The National is a band that he would always be playing around the house, and I just love that band. Um, they have a documentary called Mistaken for Strangers, the premise of which is so interesting. It basically Matt Berninger, the lead singer, has a younger brother who, at the time that he made this documentary, still lived with their parents in Ohio, and Matt was, like, apparently, per his brother's description, he was, like, captain of the football team, like, prom king, like, he was successful in the advertising industry before the National started, and then he went on to be a rock star, and, like, he's, like, kinda the golden boy, and, again, his brother's words, his brother is a little bit of, like, in the general sense, like, the colloquial sense, kind of a loser, like, he's just not doesn't have a whole lot going on, he's living with his parents, he makes, like, low budget horror films for fun, and so, like, a little nerdy, whatever. And so, the National is about to go out on, like, a 6-month-long international tour, and Matt invites his younger brother, he's like, "Hey, come be a roadie, you're probably just gonna be a runner, assistant, but, like, come get some world experience, get you out of the house, like, maybe kickstart your brain into, like, getting going on something." And his brother says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna bring a camera, and I'm gonna make a rockumentary out of it." And the whole National crew is like, "Okay, sure, but remember that's not your job description. You're out here to work." And he's like, "Alright, fine." And it turns into this story. It goes from being a rockumentary, and it turns into this story about, like, a power struggle between, like, an older brother and a younger brother, and, like, family dynamic, and, like, a story about, like, success versus shame, and all in the context of, like, being on tour with The National, and it is so good. I've seen it, like, 8 times. It's so good, and The National are just such an interesting band, and their records are so good. I love that band so much. But yeah, that documentary is called Mistaken for Strangers, for anybody interested.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely check that
Yeah.
out. The National Blood Buzz Ohio, the last song on the Full Circle. Yeah, I know them. I think the one I like of theirs quite a bit is it Mr. November? I think that's the one I quite
Yep.
like of theirs.
Yeah, off
Yeah.
Boxer. That's the record that song is on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just anybody that likes, like Interpol or, like, early Strokes stuff, it's, like, very much that kind of vibe. And then, Aaron Dessner, their guitar player, Aaron and Bryce Dessner are twins, and they're both guitar players in The National. Aaron Dessner went on to produce, um, which Taylor Swift record? Folklore. So he produced Folklore alongside Bon Iver, um, and has done a bunch of other stuff with Taylor Swift, which is so weird. I think Taylor Swift actually has some songs with The National. Um, and so they've had, like, a lot of, like, crazy commercial success too, but they're just such an interesting indie rock band that is just so solid, and the lyrics are so weird, and it's just so good. I love that band.
Nice. And a great way to for the last song on the Full Circle. How does that link back to House and Home Swarm?
So, this is so dumb. The chorus or no, the pre-chorus of that song is, "I was carried to Ohio in a swarm of bees." So, swarm.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, incredible. Hence completing the Full Circle. Pat, thank you so
Yeah, man.
much.
Thank you.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute honor, and please, guys, check out the new album, House and Home. I Will Look for You, an incredible album available, to buy anywhere and also stream anywhere. And fingers crossed, gonna be. I don't know. I'm trying to manifest this UK tour somehow. Is there any parting words before we wrap things up?
Um, if you are able to make it out to a show, I think we pride ourselves on being a live band. That's, like, the whole point. That's why we started the band, is to play shows. So come hang out, check out the new record if you're anywhere around Richmond or on the East Coast in the US. January 31st, we have the release show. We're gonna play a whole thing. The whole show is gonna be great. Um, and yeah, to anyone who has ever cared, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And props to you, man. Thank you for the interesting conversation. The thing about like doing podcast or any sort of press at a certain level is like a lot of times it tends to be a lot of the same thing. So kudos to the interesting premise and the unique conversation. This was cool.
No, thank you. I know it's I know you do a lot of talk, and I know there's probably going to be similar questions. I don't want this podcast to be like that, but thanks for being such a great sport and just taking part. It really means a lot. Thank you so
Yeah, of
much.
course, man. This was very fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.